Now we enter the space of maintaining presence. Competency number 5. To me, presence is so critical in the coaching conversational process. Without presence, there can be no listening. There can be no evoking of awareness. Presence is so critical in every conversation. Too often, we often think that, oh, what makes a coaching conversation at the MCC level or this level or that level? The moment a coach asks me that question, I realize that they may not understand what it really means to be a coach, or what it really means to have mastery of conversation, or what does it mean to have coaching mastery. You see, that question, when asked, it's telling me that there are different levels, but presence is not having different levels. Presence, it's about being there for the other person. It's about being fully conscious and present with the client, employing a style that's open, flexible, grounded, and confident. When someone's present, you feel them. There's nothing that can tell you otherwise. You feel like, hey, they're there for you. You feel that every words that they say, the questions that they ask, their attentiveness, you feel that, hey, I can trust that person. Think about this. Imagine going to a GP or doctor, and the doctor's asking a few questions to clarify. And if you hear that subtle nervousness in that voice, or the way they ask, or maybe the lack of presence, you immediately feel like something scratchy on the inside. I'm not sure if I can trust the client. I'm not sure if I can trust the doctor really well. In the very same way, for the role of the coach, it's when we are present with the client, we are not fixated with a certain model framework. So I don't come in with a certain goal in mind. No, I come in fully conscious and present with what the client wants from this session. And this is something that I enjoy, because with this new update of the sub-competency, I think it brings a lot more clarity. There's an introduction of a sub-competency 5.3 where it says this: awareness of what is emerging for the coach and client at the present moment. So it's not just for the client, but what is emerging for myself as well. Because sometimes in that conversation space, something emerges and we are learning as well. You see, in the coaching conversation, there are two learners. Me, the role of the coach, am learning. The client is also learning. In this conversational space, we are learning. There's a learning moment. And I love this. Coaching creates multiple learning moments for those who are willing to hear, see, and experience. You gain a lot of awareness and building. And that's the beauty. And so when someone asks me, why do I love coaching so much? Well, because coaching, it's a learning opportunity. Where else can you get an opportunity to just be there, to be fully conscious and present in that moment? And when we understand this, we stop fighting with definitions against definitions. We stop fighting against words, but we just become aware and just be curious. Not because I know it all, no, but just reminding myself that, hey, I'm just a human being also in this learning process. This is something that's really exciting for us. One of the things that we can do in our everyday application is that we can listen without rushing, allowing for silence, allowing for space. Try not to rush in the conversation. Why are we rushing the conversation? Have we taken time to understand, listen, pause, reflect? Have we given space to the client, staying open when outcomes are unclear? Even if I'm unsure what the client is sharing, or maybe I'm clear with the direction of the conversation, I'm not rushing it. I'm just trusting the process. I'm trusting that space that would happen. I'm there for the client to know that, hey, every step of the way, it will be okay. Holding the emotions calmly. Don't rescue prematurely. Sometimes many coaches feel uneasy with that emotions and they want to rescue immediately. But hey, let's pause. Let's hold that space and let presence emerge, because better presence means better listening, better awareness, and it deepens trust. When done well, your groundedness or your grounded presence provides a calm, steady, confident attention for the client. And that flexibility creates that agility for you to adapt to different shifts in the conversation space. And that space for silence allows for deeper reflection. In fact, this is something one of the signatures that I do in my classes, where during my bravest story experience as well, I allow client to deepen the space for reflection. They go deeper within themselves. They pause. They step out. We step in. We create that space, that conversational space for silence. And this is very different from just being silent. There's silence and silent, and that's something very exciting. I will have a whole another series sharing with all of us about that. And the courage is in uncertainty. Not knowing becomes possibility. And so it's okay. Embrace the uncertain, embrace the unknown. Because when we step there into the unknown, something beautiful emerges. So, for example, the client cries deeply, or there's a certain emotion that arises, but the coach stays grounded, allowing silence before gently inviting reflection. And this is what I love to say: presence is the art of standing still with another in the storm. Presence is the art of standing still with another in their storm. And when coaches struggle, it's when they're very fixated to rush to fix something, filling silence with solutions because they feel uncomfortable with that silence, or getting distracted with attention, missing subtle cues, avoiding of emotion, steering away from discomfort, or over controlling, clinging to structure instead of flow. For example, client pauses, coach jumps into next question, cutting off the emerging awareness. Or when presence falters, that dissolves in the distraction without giving that space. So it's important for us to consider, are we jumping too fast, or are we giving that space for the client to consider? And this is presence at its best. Presence when falters, depth dissolves into distraction.